Hello friends, and welcome to another 3-Minute Game Pass. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this Game Pass game is worth your time and bandwidth. Today's game is Gears of War Judgement. Where do you go after Gears of War 3? Well, back in time apparently with another 4-player co-op game, this time starring series co-star Baird. With a different developer at the helm, is this spin-off game worth checking out? Let's find out. Gears of War Judgement is an Xbox 360 game, which means you get the normal stuff of upgraded resolutions and auto HDR on the series consoles. It also includes FPS boosts to bump this sucker up to 60 FPS, and the game only lasts about 6 to 8 hours. What exactly is Gears of War Judgement? Well, it's a spin-off game made by People Can Fly, the guys who made Outriders and Bulletstorm, under the supervision of the series' previous showrunner, Epic Mega Games. It still has the same cover-based third-person shooting as before, but with a more bite-sized, arcadey style gameplay. You play as Baird and his squad on trial for doing something illegal during the start of the Locust War. And the entire story is told through flashback as each squad member delivers their testimony on what happened. This means the game is split into chunks where you control each character, and they always end by jumping back to the present and eventually the final resolution to whether Baird and crew are guilty or not of their crimes. While the fundamental gameplay of cover-based shooting is similar, Judgement actually feels a fair bit different than the previous Gears games. Instead of a big, continuous, uninterrupted story, Judgement instead chunks out its combat arenas into separate zones, each of which have various sub-objectives and requirements to gain high score and rank. Objectives might include things like kills with a certain weapon or beating an area in a certain time, and additionally, each area has kind of a hard mode modifier, which will add things like poison gas or obscured vision to increase your score further. Similarly, other things in the game have been stripped down for the sake of streamlining, such as ammo being universal, and you only can carry 2 weapons rather than the usual 3. This leads to the game feeling a fair bit different than Gears 2 and 3, which were more focused around their insane campaign escalations and the linear story, and now it's a lot more gamey, where you try and play it optimally in each area, while also overcoming the new challenges the game's throwing at you. Overall, while Judgement doesn't mix up the core gameplay too much, its changes to the overall formula do make it feel like a different game from the previous in the franchise, and that isn't necessarily a bad thing. So what do I like about Gears of War Judgement? Well, the arcadey, mini-objective based zones of Gears combat actually works really well. So well, in fact, I'm surprised they haven't recycled it as like a mode for future installments, especially the ability to make each area harder for a better score. I'm really glad they mixed this up rather than just attempting to clone Gears of War 2. Additionally, the storytelling method of switching between the testimonies of various squad members is a neat idea, and it allows the game to hop around and keep the story very brisk. Lastly, small tweaks like universal ammo and easier weapon swapping might piss off series purists, but for this game, the streamlining actually makes the game feel much more modern and fast-paced, and I actually really liked it. It was a good match. When it comes to the bad, if you really boil it down, this is still just core Gears combat with an arcadey layer on top. Nothing significant has been changed or improved still. Additionally, the story is overall inconsequential to the overall Gears universe and doesn't ever come close to the bombastic heights and just greatness of the previous trilogy. And lastly, it really does feel like a filler game because of the last 2 bullet points I just mentioned, which, while that isn't necessarily a bad thing, does make the game not really feel like a AAA game, unlike the previous 3 games in the franchise. And as you know, rate games here on a 3-point scale: must play, maybe consider, don't bother. Gears of War Judgement is definitely a maybe consider, but I also think it's a bit of a hidden gem. It does feel weird giving a game in such a huge franchise a hidden gem award, but I feel this game is criminally overlooked with how unique it is for a Gears game. Its more arcadey style of gameplay does a really fantastic job of injecting some innovation into the franchise and makes for a great game to play in small bursts or replay for high scores with friends. While its story isn't exactly crucial to the overall Gears universe, if you are wanting more Gears gameplay and really just that great gameplay, this is a fun diversion. That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and go out there and enjoy Gears of War Judgement.